Oh, dude, you got a lot to fix. You got a lot to fix. I was contemplating on how I wanted to start the show as we began on here today. And already I'm looking at the comments and you guys are basically taking the words right out of my mouth. But I'm going to stay on a positive note tonight. And I'm going to highlight the good. We're going to highlight the bad. Vakari Swain, you've earned a seat at the table. You have earned a seat at the Hill House. Take whatever you want. We'll cook your favorite meals. 3 punt returns in 2 games. It's what helps generate offenses. Did it help generate them today? Not really, but you got it going. You're 2-0. But guess what? You got a gauntlet starting next freaking week. You better fix your problems. We're going to have a lot to talk about tonight. But guys, we are live. This is the South Carolina Live post-game show. I am your host, as always, Lucas Hill. And everybody do us a favor. Guys, I know there is a lot of you. Damn, we've already got over 100 of you that are crawling up in here as we speak. Do us a favor, hit the like, share, and subscribe button. Turn on that bell notification so that you are notified every time we go live here on South Carolina Live at the Voice of College Football. If you are watching us on X, hit the repost button, hit that like button. Tell 10 Gamecock friends around you that we are live right now. That, guys, you didn't, in a game where you played an inferior opponent, where you should easily beat them by 30, 40, you look like garbage. Offensively, you look pretty garbage. Defensively, you were fine. Look, and I knew that defensively you were going to be just fine at the end of the day. That was going to be nothing new. I think Dylan Stewart, that hit that he had at I think it was the second quarter, that kind of generated a little bit of momentum. But we're going to go through the entire game. We're going to go through all of what you guys have to discuss with me. Guys, we are taking live phone calls. So if you want to have your question answered, if you have any concerns that if you guys want to come on and address, you are more than welcome to come on. 843-350-2543, 843-350-2583. Guys, oh my gosh. I don't know what it is with the beginning of the season for you that you tend to struggle so bad, but I just don't get it. And I know there's going to be a lot of you out there that are going to say that we need a better offensive coordinator. Honestly, after 2 games, it's hard for me to judge. After today, it's still hard to judge. But you got to find some dudes on that offensive side of the ball. Lenore Sellers cannot do it by himself, because you're going to get the same situation what happened at the beginning of the year, where he's going to do it by himself, and then he's going to tend to make mistakes, and it's going to cost you some football games. So you got to find a way. You got to dig down deep into your soul. You got to dig down into that meeting room, whether especially on offense, and you have to find something better. Let's get to some of your comments real fast before we get to our play-by-play of the game. Big Dog Brock joining us in the chat. What's up, brother? Says, really need to get a better, more proven offensive coordinator ASAP. I think you did get lazy in the offseason, in my opinion. First 2 games, I mean, you look great at the start of drives, and then once you get on the opposite side of the 50, you tend to piss down your leg. And today was a great example of that. Last week was a great example of that. You can't do that against Vanderbilt, who dominated the second half. I know y'all watched that game. I know that may not have been as exciting as the end of that Mississippi State game or that Oklahoma game. Doesn't matter. Vanderbilt can score. And their running game, they have a running game, by the way, guys. Their defensive line is pretty damn good. Early on in that first quarter and throughout the entire first half, guys, you got pushed around. Atlas says, fix that crappy O-line. You got to find one of our keys to victory, guys. If you are a steady freaking listener in our shows, you would know that on Monday we said one of our keys to the games, and one of the things I wanted to see was consistency on the offensive line. Find a lineup that you can have. And I will say this, early on, you looked pretty bad. Now, second half wise, when you had the game in lock, I mean, it was fine. Shed Surratt at times, first game of the season, didn't do terrible, but I think you still have a lot of issues. I thought Boaz Stanley was inconsistent today. I thought Kason Evans didn't have a... Dadgummit, I'm always mispronouncing his name. It's Kason Henry. I'm sorry. Kason Henry at times is probably right now your best offensive lineman. Josiah Thompson, you're probably going to have to replace him. And guys, if you are a consistent listener to us here at South Carolina Live, you would also remember on Monday that I was adamantly advocating for Jatavius Shivers to get playing time, to get a spot on this offensive line. I thought Shivers didn't do bad taking over for JT. I really didn't think he did a bad job. So I don't know what you guys think, but from what I saw and what I was able to gather, I thought JT, he's not a left tackle. And I don't know who to blame on this one still. I think we'll have a solid answer by the time we get to the end of September, but I think it's a mixture of personnel, and I think it's a mixture of, it's not, and by the way, guys, it's not just Mike Shula. You got lazy when you got Lonnie Teasley. And last week, I was sitting here scratching my head, not really sure. But when you hire from within, you get lazy. You have lazy hiring, guys. Lonnie Teasley, let's just be honest, has not had a consistent tenure in Columbia. He really hasn't. Big Dog Brock also says too many good players to be playing that way on offense. Yeah. It starts and ends with the line of scrimmage, brother. You got to fix it. Defense played good, but the corners are a little shaky to me. Yeah, I thought the same thing dating back to last week. I thought you got picked on a little bit on the outside, but especially when you're in man-to-man, that's what's going to happen at the time. That O-line got pushed around way too much. Again, back to my original point. You got to be you have to find consistency, guys. Chris Miller joins us. What's up, man? A win by 28, but felt like a loss. Don't know how we beat Vandy. I say Vandy 24, South Carolina 14. This sucks. Whoo, man. I mean, I don't want to be negative when it comes to this, guys, but I also got to be real with you. I am very concerned. I think defensively, you're going to keep yourself hanging around. You need Vakari Swain to really step up in a big way. But I think what Vandy's going to do is that they're not going to kick to him. It's either going to be a sky kick, but if you're this South Carolina offensive line, man, you got to have a come to Jesus meeting. And I don't think you'll even be in the top 10 tomorrow, in my opinion. I think you may drop down a spot to like 11. But, I mean, there was really nothing that I would say impressed me as a whole on the offensive side of the ball. Guys, you had 21 points that weren't even generated from the offense. So you might have won 38-10. You had 17 points on the offense. 17. That's unacceptable, guys. For an offense with so much talent and for an offense with so much depth as a whole, guys, you have to find consistency. This offense was, Chris Miller also says, this offense was what I was looking forward to watching this season, and it has been nowhere to be found so far. Very disappointing. This was a very disappointing win. Yes. Oh, yeah. Every live show brought to you by our good friends at the Voice of College Football website. Going over to vocfb.com/shop. Use my promo code VOCFB Gamecocks to get yourself a nice little discount when it comes to all things VOCFB related. That's VOCFB Gamecocks for all of your apparel for VOCFB merch. Let's get to the game, guys. Again, if you're watching us on wherever, tell 5 or 10 South Carolina friends that we are live breaking down this game. Guys, we are the number one source for all things South Carolina football, South Carolina athletics. Guys, whatever it is, we're here breaking it all down. Who else is staying up this late at night to break down a game like this, in which we're learning quite a bit about this program and where you are as a whole? Got a lot to fix. You would start the season. South Carolina State would get the football. Will Atkins would have a big pass to Jalen Johnson to the 48 for a first down. And I do want to come back to what Big Dog Brock said about the corners. Yeah, this was one of those plays. Guys, cornerback room concerns me a good bit because of how young you are. Guys, how does the loss of Judge Collier affect this DB room? It's pretty significant. So depending on when you get him back, I mean, if you get him back, and that's a big if, guys, you have got to find consistency, dude. You have got to find consistency. But you force a punt, and then the first offensive series of the game, you basically targeted Oscar Attaway from start to finish. Lenoris would throw to Oscar Attaway. And by the way, guys, I'll give props to South Carolina State's special teams, where the first 3 possessions for South Carolina were inside their 10-yard line. Inside the 10-yard line. Oh, man. So you'd have a 3 and out, you punt the football. The next possession, you start off great. Mazio Bennett, false start. Roswell Faison run for 3. You try to go back to Roswell Faison again, can't get the football to him, and then you try to throw to Nick Harbor, and he can't get the football. So South Carolina State goes on a run. You would throw it to Jalen Johnson for 7 to the 50. Will Atkins runs for a loss of 5, can't do anything on the quarterback draw. And then Will Atkins, 38-yard pass, 23 yards to Jalen Johnson. And there's a BS Demon Clowney unnecessary roughness, which was apparently, that was a HS call. Let's just be real with each other, guys. And then from then on, they run the football. They get inside the red zone. Nico Calavaninas would kick a 21-yarder. It's 3-0. You'd have a 3-and-out because you'd have an illegal snap on Boaz Stanley. Guys, these pre-snap penalties were absolutely killer for you. You are too talented of a team to have stupid penalties. You had 7 for 48. 7 for 48. And guess what, guys? You got outgained in total yards. Third down, ass water. Throwing the football, ass water. Then you'd finally get a decent possession. Roswell Faison, run for 5 to the 25. You throw to Donovan Murph to the South Carolina 37. You get a first down. And you can't say that the run game was irrelevant when you had 125 yards rushing. But knowing who you played against, come on. That was pathetic. Jawarn Howell, 7 for 30. Lenoris had 8 for 23. Roswell Faison, 5 for 21. Oscar Adaway, 7 for 20. I understand it's games like this that are that get you a difficult look at what to expect because you're not going to show your full cards going up against a good team in Vanderbilt. That good luck, man. That's all I got to really tell you. But you got to find your dudes. Nick Harbor didn't have a reception. Vandravius Jacobs was basically your star tonight. And he hadn't had a reception since last year against Ole Miss. But you get Nick Harbor involved. Run for 12. You get to your own 49. Lenore Sellers does a nice little tightrope back and get yourself to the 40 for a first down. Lenore Vandravius Jacobs, 9 to the SC 31. Roswell Faison, run for 6 for a first down. You'd have back-to-back incompletions, and then Lenoris would run for a loss of 2. Then you'd miss a 45-yard field goal. And Will Joyce should not have kicked that, in my opinion. You should have just left your offense out on the field. You're at your own 27. I think, what was Will Joyce's longest up into that season? 44? If that. And you knew he wasn't good from the left side either. But the rest of the half would pretty much go like you expected. So after that one, wouldn't matter. Tyler Smith runs for no game, and then Will Atkins, the first play after, Tyler Smith gets blown up by Dylan Stewart, goes nowhere. And then Will Atkins would get sacked by Brian Thomas Jr. But you're finding your other edge rusher, which is what was the most important thing for you going into this game. You had to find your other playmakers throughout the majority of the game. You did. You got another guy to set alongside Dylan Stewart, which we expected. But I think at the end of the day, guys, you really didn't know what to expect with Brian Thomas. But I think with the loss of depth at that edge position, getting a guy like him involved a lot was pretty much well needed. And then you start to make mistakes. South Carolina State did. You punted to Vakari Swain. He goes to the right side. Bang, touchdown. First points of the game. Now the floodgates started to open. The very next possession, you have another freaking 3 and out. It gets partially blocked by Maurice Brown II. Nobody falls on it. Vakari just picks it up. Why not have another one? 14-3. You get a field goal to end the half, so you're going into the half 17-3. First drive coming off, best one of the day. 8 plays, 65 yards. Razul Faison run for 7 on the first 2 carries. You get a throw to Michael Smith, the fullback. You get to the 45 for a first down. You'd have a pass interference penalty trying to go over the middle to Nick Harbor. Didn't matter. Get to the South Carolina 30, where it would be Oscar Attaway for the next 2 plays, and then Lenoris would set you up for a run of 16 inside the red zone, and then Oscar Attaway would punch it in from 5 yards out to make this 24-3. You'd have a 3 and out. Isaiah Gustav did get some carries in this game from what I saw. What I want to see from Gustav is I do want to kind of see him get a little bit more carries. But again, when you're playing a team like SC State and you want to play as much as you can, especially knowing that it's an inferior opponent, you want to get your seniors a good bit of playing time as well. So you would have a punt that would get fair caught by Brian Rowe at the 14. You'd have to do another 3, have another 3 and out. Then South Carolina State would fumble on the very first play. Jaron Willis picks it up, touchdown. So you have 21 points off of turnovers. Well, 21 points that weren't offensive touchdowns. Then South Carolina finally gets a big touchdown drive. 5 plays, 52 yards. Ventravius Jacobs was all over the field tonight. He's probably your offensive player of the week for South Carolina. 35-yard touchdown overall. Then South Carolina State would drive right down the field. They'd have their best drive of the game. 11 plays, 75 yards. It'd be a lot of Ryan Stubblefield throughout this game. Pass to Nick Sewell for 9 yards and a touchdown. Very next drive, be Luke Doty drive. I don't want to bore you guys to go through the rest of the game. You have a turnover on downs, and then you run out the clock. Oh, man. I mean, that first couple of games, man, you played like absolute hot garbage. Guys, that's going to kill you. That is going to hurt you tremendously tonight. If you play like that next week against Vanderbilt, and you put your defense in bad situations, guys, you're going to get screwed. I mean, you're genuinely going to put yourself in really, really horrible situations from here on out. So I think going forward, guys, offensive line, it's time to have a conversation. And this is something we've been having for the last year. Really, all offseason, we've been talking about offensive line needing to step up. You know, I advocated for a lot of guys to start on that offensive line. I advocated for Rodney Newsome, and Rodney Newsome starts off and freaking gets blown up. We have a phone call, by the way, guys. You're on the phone with Lucas Hill. This is the South Carolina Live postgame show. Who do we have the pleasure of speaking to?
name is Heisman.
What's up, Heisman? Not from how he played today, but what's on your mind tonight? What'd you think of the game?
Yeah, I've got some real grave concerns about the talent evaluation at South Carolina. I'm really not positive that our coaches are really identifying the best players at any given position. I have some concerns about the way that that's impacting the team.
Okay, please explain.
Well, I mean, for example, Vicari Swain, anyone that saw his high school huddle tape, which I did 2 years ago, would have seen that he had so many explosive plays. I mean, the guy's jumping off the screen at you. I ran into Beamer a couple of years ago, made a comment about it, and just said, wow, we've got a really electric guy coming in. How are we going to get him the ball? He said, well, he's going to play cornerback, blah, blah, blah. It took an injury to Jelon Kilgore to get Vicari Swain on the field. Don't forget that. I mean, we even saw this previously, when we tried to make Kerryon Joyner a running back. You had Mario Anderson there, who was clearly the better running back, and it took about 3 games for that to finally come to light. I think Jawarn Howell is actually our best running back in terms of between the tackles, the type of run game that they're wanting to do. I think he got punished for fumbling in the bowl game, and I think that's been held against him. But for all the talk that's out there about Attaway and Rasul, and they certainly have talent, they certainly have their place. The game that we've been trying to run, and it may just be early season, keeping the playbook light, but between the tackles, Jawarn Howell is running hard-nosed. He ended up being our leading rusher tonight, which isn't saying much for 30 yards on 7 carries, but nevertheless was the leading rusher. And I still believe that he's the best player. On offense, I think it's killing us that they're shuffling the deck constantly, and these guys aren't able to gel up. So got some real concerns about talent eval.
It also doesn't help that staff-wise, you're not developing dudes. I mean, I've said this for the last week and a half that we got to have a real talk about Lonnie Teasley and this front four. And to your point about the running back room, I'm not disagreeing. I will say, though, right now, I think Attaway is your best back. But as a whole, it doesn't help that between the tackles, you can only do so much. But when you're constantly getting beat on the interior, that causes a lot of problems. So that's the only things. That's the only thing I'm going to say when it comes to that. I do understand what you're saying, but it all starts with the line of scrimmage, brother.
It really does, man. I mean, it's in coaching. I know everyone's out for Teasley's job and for good reason. But what the heck, man? We've got multiple 4-star recruits.
Josiah Thompson's a 5-star.
Yeah, 5-star. I mean, where the hell is Tree? Is he even playing? Has he played yet?
I think Tree was hurt the last week. I don't even know if he played today. I am glad, though, that Jatavius Shivers did get some playing time because I've been advocating for him to play for the all off season. I was shocked he didn't even get first team reps during fall camp. I don't know why they kept putting in JT, and they wouldn't even give Shivers any opportunity at first team. Like it was just ridiculous. And JT was getting his ass whipped throughout pass pro.
I don't get it. You had Tree. He's got a full year of starting reps under him. You've got Josiah, who started all last year, and then you've got Jason Henry. I guess he had started games before, but I just don't get how you have all those guys that have all that experience and you're not firm there on the outside. I mean, I know the inside, everyone's talking about the inside because the left guard spot. I mean, did you see how many times it's like there's a body there, but it's like there's no reaction, there's no speed. I mean, there's nothing. It doesn't matter who we seem to put there. It's like a glitch in the matrix. We can't block it correctly. What the hell do you do if you're Lonnie Teasley going into next week against Vanderbilt? What adjustment do you make?
I'll probably put Shed Surratt in the interior and probably put It's either that or because right now I think Case and Henry is your best offensive lineman at this point. I'm keeping Boaz in the middle. I'm probably rotating between Tree playing guard. I'm rotating Shed playing some tackle and some guard as well. I think practice this week is going to be interesting to try and figure that out. But you got a lot of questions on that offensive line, man. Like I could take you through so many different scenarios, but ultimately, this is on Lonnie Teasley. I mean, you have got he's got to know at this point that he's got issues with where this offensive line is at and how they're developing. Because right now they're about 2 years behind the 8 ball and where they should be as a whole. Because let's just be honest, between me and you, Beamer, in my opinion, got lazy when it came to staff hiring. He didn't go out and go hire big name guys, which I'm fine with.
Big loyalist guy.
And
all in the family guy, doesn't want to hurt feelings.
Yeah, and I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with that at all. But when you're not producing at a high level, that's exactly what happened with programs like I think Arkansas did it a couple times. I know that Miami did it, which led to their demise. LSU did it for a little while. And when you hire from within and when you get lazy, that's whenever you start to see the production go down significantly. And I'll put this on me. I was high on Mike Shula at the beginning because of what he had done with Cam Newton and what kind of quarterback that he was going to get with Lenoris, who I compared to Cam Newton. But it's obvious this cat hadn't been around and really been an actual signal caller in 10 years. So he's behind the 8 ball himself.
You just can't do anything if you can't get the line blocked. Now, I don't know how much you blame on, the rain delay and overlooking the opponent and considering it, to be. I mean, these guys, I know it's the MEAC, right? So they're the returning champs. They're coming off a win against Wofford. They were not overlooking this game. They came ready to play. We clearly did not.
No.
And that was the wrong, whatever message was being sent to these guys. I think that they were getting the message that, hey guys, we'll just show up and we'll just get a win, and then we'll focus on next week and look forward to you third string guys getting some reps. But I mean, I'll tell you what, what we just saw reminds me. I think we almost regressed from last week. I mean, I certainly didn't see any progression on offense.
No. Absolutely. I completely agree with you. I mean, you offensively, and I don't know if you were even paying attention, you had 21 points that were non-offensive touchdowns. You take away those things,
21 to 8, exactly.
You take away those, it's what, 17-10 at the end of it. You played between this game and between Old Dominion last year. I'd have to say offensively, your worst game was today compared to what you did against Old Dominion. Because today you had the firepower. You're coming off of a year where you're starting to get some consistency on your offense, but now you just lay a freaking brick when you get to a game like SC State, where in all fairness and all reality, you should beat this team by 40 easily, and this should be a tune-up game for your offense. But instead, you play down to your opponent. That's exactly what our coaches have told us that it was like, and that's how we're going to continue to reiterate. You played down to your opponent. You underestimated what they were going to bring. The rain delay, I don't think it affects a team as a whole. It does get you have 30 minutes to get warmed up and get ready. And you've already been through install. You've already been through your game plan for this week. You should be ready to go. That rain delays have nothing really to do with overall team performance.
I was a college football player, small, D3.
So was I.
There's something to be said for the amount of energy that they expend I think that's why we saw a lot of injuries. I think people's circadian rhythms start kicking in. I mean, there's something to be said for, hey, it's 1 o'clock in the morning and we're out here playing a full speed football game. You're going to get people a little more knocked around than they would at 12 p.m. or 3 p.m. or 7 p.m. I do think that has an impact. I'm not blaming that. I'm not using that as an excuse for why we played piss poor. I don't think that excuses it, period. With that said, I think every point you made about getting lazy on hiring, I think what you said about, Casey Henry being our best lineman is true. I want to see Tree at the left tackle. I would love to see Surratt continue to progress. They got to figure that interior out, or else we're going to get killed. But I appreciate you taking the call.
Absolutely, man. Have a great rest of the night.
Thanks, man.
Open phone lines are back open. 843-350-2534. Yeah, I think Surratt, he's pretty much established himself as your new left guard. Rodney Newsom is going to get somebody killed. Marquis Anderson is still hurt. So, yeah, I don't know when we'll be able to see him. He does have a point because it sucks having to go play a game late at night. And I've done it before. I know most of you that are in the chat right now, most of you that have played college football before or have just played any sort of sport related to that, especially if it's a late night one, and being on a wet ass field. Because let me ask you this, because y'all have turf, I'm assuming. Does Willie B has turf? Because I don't know if it's artificial grass or if it's actual like turf. All right, you're on the phone with Lucas Hill. This is the South Carolina Live postgame show. Who do we have the pleasure of speaking to?
This is Scouty.
Hey, buddy.
Call in.
I had a feeling you were going to call today.
See, I've never done it before, but, I just wanted to feel the experience. I saw the South Carolina State game. I thought everybody did fantastic, obviously.
You obviously didn't watch the full game then, because I got a lot of people in the comments that say that offensively we sucked.
It was a huge weather delay. It's against a lesser opponent.
Scout.
Play down a little bit.
Scout, come on. You and I both know. Look, the weather delay, sure, it can get you out of a rhythm. That shouldn't affect how you play.
Yeah.
I've experienced it before.
Let me pull up some damn stats. As everyone does nowadays.
Look,
it was 38-10, which I know it didn't cover the spread, but still, like,
no. That spread was like 43.5 or something like that.
Yeah. Although I thought a lot of the spreads were off today. Like, a lot of people
Yeah.
were betting spreads and then, like, not realizing how far off the spreads were.
Right. Have you?
Like
were you at the South game today?
No, I was not. I had my guy Jack Martin down there though.
Oh.
I was taking pictures of. I had an actual engagement shoot to take today.
Hey yo! I was about to say I thought you were going to say Bordeaux. How do you say his name? Is it Bordeaux or Bordeaux?
Yeah. Bordeaux was down there. I think he was there with RBC.
Oh.
Like Sam Brown or whatever.
They're both from around that area.
Bordeaux's from Kentucky.
What the hell are they doing at the South game?
I don't know. I know that he's been trying to travel more, but also Bordeaux said that Starkville, Mississippi, was not a place that he'd ever visit, and then they win an iconic game,
bruh,
at home against the ranked opponent.
Hey man, shout out them cowbells, bro. Them cowbells are crazy.
Cowbells is hell.
Did you even watch the game?
Yeah. Oh, I watched almost all the SEC games.
Dude, freaking South Carolina, bro. Offensive line looks like garbage.
Yeah. I think it'll be fine. I think they'll bounce back for sure. Who do they have next week?
They got Vandy, dude.
Vandy, who just beat Virginia Tech.
Vandy beat the piss out of freaking Virginia Tech, too. Their second half belonged to Vandy.
That's an 11 o'clock game. I think early morning helps Carolina, too.
Timeout. It's an early morning game next week?
What's a noon game?
It's a noon game next week.
Yeah, that's what I call it early.
Are we sure? Because it still says to be declared.
I'm looking at it right now, and it says noon.
Okay.
Yeah, because I know that.
No. It says right here it's a 7:45 kickoff.
Let me look it up on the actual.
I'm just looking at what Wikipedia says.
What?
Hey, don't hate on Wikipedia.
Reject all the cookies from the. Oh, this does say 7:45. That's interesting. Night game. I know that they already announced Georgia Tennessee as the game of the week, though. Also, I hope Georgia puts 500 on them. But
I mean, I don't know, bro. You saw Lamar beat South Dakota. Micah's gonna be happy.
Shout out Micah, Big Mike. Yeah, I've been looking at like all the. I've even looked at some of the SWAC games. Wait, did A&M? I think Alabama A&M ended up winning that game.
Did Southern win? They played Alabama State today. No, they got their butt handed to.
I was about to say, yeah, Alabama State is a hell of a team right now.
Surprisingly. Bama State's usually been bad recently, bro. Well, I mean, to be fair, they went freaking toe-to-toe with UAB.
They didn't post on their they didn't post on their Bama State football. Or wait. Is it because they don't use Bama State football anymore?
I don't know.
But they did. Okay, I'm trying to find the score on Twitter. Is it Bama State Athletics? Okay, yeah, that's what they're doing now. But yeah, big shout out to Hornets. Obviously, you now are a contender in the SWAC. I think that they can easily pull off a hell of a run. They do have a great team. I think Bodie's probably one of the best quarterbacks in the FCS. I think that this team would be really fun in the playoffs too, with how that's going to be. Because the SWAC schools, this is the first year that they're actually like allowed to say, "Hey, I want to be in the playoffs." If they are. Like if they win the SWAC, they'll be able to say that. So instead of going to the Celebration Bowl, you'll be going to the playoffs. So, and I honestly think Bama State would be willing to do that because I don't think most of the SWAC schools view a Celebration Bowl as highly as they did even like 2 or 3 years ago. We're going to the playoffs, just because of how far the MEAC has fallen. But brother, I'll check in with you later. But Cox by 90. Oh, also the other Cox one, the other Jack State beat Liberty. So
Jack State beat Liberty?
Yeah.
Oh my God! Wow.
Liberty never led in the game.
Wow. I'll be darned.
You should rewatch that game too because
I probably do.
Cameron Cook had 190 something yards of rushing, but yeah. But I'm about to peace out. I'm not going to bed because I'm watching this damn Sam Houston Hawaii game.
You're watching the damn Sam Houston Hawaii game? When does the freaking game end? That thing probably doesn't end till probably 2 o'clock in the morning.
And we will be here for it. I will say the Hawaii games go way quicker than people anticipate.
Well, I mean, Hawaii throws the damn football all over the damn place, so.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it started at 11, and it's already nearing halftime, so like it could be done by like 1:15. So like who knows? But I
Anything's
will
possible.
say Sam Houston making a quarterback change on a short on a short travel week. Hell of a decision. Obviously, they went from Hunter Watson, to Mature. I don't know how to say his last name, but he's the younger kid. I mean, like, I get it, ride with the younger guy, but he's already thrown 1 pick six today, so who knows? But yeah, but peace out, brother, and I'll check in with you.
Goodbye, Scout. That was our good friend Scout of Southern Charm Sports. He's around he's the big G6 guy. But open phone lines are back open, 843-350-2534. Bradham Dantzler says that was very disappointing. Oh, my God, yeah. Oh, yeah. You better believe that was very disappointing. But, I mean, to kind of sum up what that last caller said, he's not wrong. I mean, we have been prioritizing and downright freaking not necessarily pretty much begging, but more of pleading South Carolina and this offensive room. Guys, you gotta start faster. Like, you'll have these explosive starts to the game. For example, last week, first drive of the game. And then following that, you will go 2 or 3 quarters, get on the opposite side of the field, and then just freaking piss down your leg. Just literally piss down your leg with no care in the world. That's where you are at right now as a program, is that you have started slow and almost nothing has changed. Almost nothing has really even improved since then. Nothing. You better fix something, dude. I'm sorry, guys. But injuries, they're a killer, dude. They are a killer for you. I mean, you've already lost Jatius Gear for quite some time. George Wilson's hurt. Desmond Uzanulu, we'll see how long he takes. Judge Collier, he's gone for a little while. I mean, you got to go into freaking pretty intense territory next week, man. It's not going to be easy. I do expect you to win. I mean, people are going to be overselling it, but I think by next week, you better have everything together, man. You better, because the way that Vanderbilt attacked the second half, one of the things they did was run the freaking football. I'm looking at where Vanderbilt was and how they were against Virginia Tech. And I think they ran for close to 200 yards throughout that game, man. I mean, Vandy was just all over VT. 34 unanswered points in the second half. You had 490 yards of total offense. You had 262 on the ground. Guys, you have got to find an identity offensively. Offensive line wise, you have got to get more consistency. On third down, you got 3 of 12 on third down. Really? That's unacceptable, guys. you have just been so piss poss. Just I've never seen a team that goes into a game like this. And in all fairness to South Carolina State, they had our number. They really did. If we're just being real with each other, guys. But that's what you and I are going to have a conversation on Tuesday. And when we get the film of this game, guys, I'm about to get real with you. It's not going to be fun. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to put out my own daggum depth chart because I'm not listening to the rest of this freaking media that's out at Gamecock territory and says, oh, hey, we got the depth chart. This is what it's going to look like. Before we get out of here, let's get one more phone call in. What's up, man? You called again.
Calling again, man. You look like you need some help. You look a little tired out there. But
dude, it's 12:30 at night in my territory. I'm from Baton Rouge, so I'm in.
It's 1:30 where I am. I don't blame you at
Oh,
all.
I got work.
I got two more things I want to tell you. Two more things.
What you got, brother?
Listen, man. I don't get me wrong. I love the Gamecocks. All right, I'm a diehard Gamecock fan. Okay, I listen to just hours of podcasts. Look at all the recruiting notes, all the stuff. And I could not be a bigger fan of the culture that Beamer's building and everything. And Lenore Sellers just seems like the nicest guy in the world. I mean, goodness gracious. I would hope for a son-in-law like Lenore Sellers.
Well, I hope he would because he turned down $8 million to go back to Columbia.
Oh yeah. I think we did ourselves a big disservice by overhyping Lenore Sellers based on some highlight plays. He has unbelievable highlight potential, and he has shown us a grit and a willingness to, and an ability to make exciting, just physics-defying plays, and those get played over and over and over again. And we can forget just the simple fact that he struggles to see the field and to go through his progressions and to get rid of the ball in 2.5, 3 seconds.
Oh, he does.
He does. He just struggles with those things. And those are just kind of basic mechanics that you have to master in order to be a pro-style quarterback. And Shula seems hell-bent on trying to make him into a pro-style quarterback. And I don't know. I love the first one of the first plays we opened up with that sort of misdirection dump off to the fullback.
Yeah.
When we had 44
RPOs have been your mainstay, and I think that's where you have to get Lenore's comfortable is in the RPO game. I like when you implemented the fullback and got him involved in the game because I think he's going to be a very, very useful little option for you later on in the season. I like when you open up the playbook and when you dive into the old time machine, you get the fullback back out with the cowboy collar, the freaking jersey that's all the way up to that's only showing your belly. I mean, brother, bring that era of football back. I know Cornbread Cowboy is somewhere loving this.
Dude, that's hilarious. Yeah, I follow Cornbread. I've been joking around that we need to get a new football league where you're only allowed 8 forward passes a game, and you have just like you bring back all the wing tee, all the double tights and all that stuff, and it's just primarily a running league. I'd love to see some old school shit. Get rid of fucking targeting and all that bullshit. I just bring it back. Like I want violence.
Right.
Everyone else does. How come we have UFC and we got women kicking the shit out of each other, but like we're not allowed to have men, like launching themselves at other men? I don't with helmets on. But I digress. What I wanted to say was this. I don't think as South Carolina fans we're used to a lot of success. I think we're kind of like someone that's had a lot of terrible, terrible relationships, and we keep expecting to be hurt.
Right.
And we just we react out of that, kind of neuroticism, and I know a lot of diehard, long time, lifelong Gamecock fans, and they're usually kind of tripping over each other to be the first one to declare the season dead. It's like, oh, yeah, we suck again. No, we absolutely suck. We're gonna suck. No, I'm telling you, I'm taking the under. What's the over under for season? No, I'm taking the under. We suck. That's your typical Gamecock fan, in my opinion. So one thought could be that we, a little patience, a win is a win. We start 2-0. Obviously, there's things that need to get cleaned up.
Yes.
But I'm not gonna hit the panic button yet. But dude, what you're saying about Vanderbilt, I mean, I didn't actually watch the first half. I did watch. I watched the first half, not the second. So I do want to go back and see what Vanderbilt flashed in the second half and the adjustments that they made. But that concerns me that you have Vanderbilt coming off of a road win, where they straight popped Virginia Tech in the mouth.
Yes.
And they went 34-0 in the second half. We didn't go 34 anything in 4 quarters.
And ran for 260 yards on the ground.
Yeah, they're gonna gash us. They're gonna gash us, especially if CC, whatever 15 is out. I'm concerned about that. Gear, dude, he's the bigger sort of run stopper.
You got to have depth on the edge, dude. It doesn't help that you've already lost 2 guys during the offseason, George Wilson and that other kid, Ezeruke or whatever his last name was. It's a weird last name, but I mean, to my point, you got to find depth on the defensive line. And right now, I mean, you're basically down to what you have with Dylan off the edge and then Brian Thomas off the edge as well, both of which are pass rushers. I will say Dylan has been much better the first 2 games in run stop. He's just got to find consistency.
He's just so athletic. Yeah, I mean, we saw Clowney tonight. We saw some other guys, 22.
I think that's good that you see that even if it's a BS game like this, you start to get a little bit of what you're going to get. By the way, that roughing the passer on Demon was, excuse my language, was bullshit.
Yeah, roughing the passer is one of those that in my imaginary football league that penalty would not exist. It might even get you like 1 point if you beat the shit out of the quarterback. But it really does it does disappoint because the talk season, which is always long and is always overhyped. So, I mean, if you were listening to the same jokers I was listening to, this offense was really going to be lightning in a bottle. And it was really going to be the year because the offensive line was returning all that talent and had gotten a couple key pieces and was supposed to just be, the best offensive line that we have had in, 10 years. And that's just not the case, at least not right now. Now, I'm hopeful that looking back on ODU, I mean, how much did we think that we were going to suck after that ODU game last year? I mean, I had guys that
I talked with one of y'all's worst rivals that y'all absolutely hate in the media space, and Chris Phillips, and we both agreed that we thought South Carolina could be one of the worst teams in the SEC, and how quickly with our narrative flipped.
I made, so a friend of mine bet me $300, like right there on the spot, that we wouldn't. He bet me that we wouldn't win 3 games. And I'm like, I bet you we win at least 4. I thought we won at least 4. But to think that we won 9,
right?
As shit as we looked, I mean, we looked fucking shit.
Right.
French, but we looked terrible. No one thought we were going to be any good. And so, I do want to say, like, that the Alabama, when they went in those crazy runs, under Saban, like, you look back, it wasn't all pretty.
Right.
It wasn't all sunshine and rainbows, and there's always issues. And I think as a fan base, it can just kind of help to have that quiet confidence that we're going to get it figured out and not, look, I'm not trying to say, like, let's just all be Pollyanna about, there's not issues and everything's going to be fine and just trust the process. Bullshit. We got major problems, and if we don't get them fixed, we're going to lose to Vanderbilt.
Right.
Okay. Because I mean, what better metric about like, hey, is your team in the right place than Vanderbilt? Because I mean, I don't know when Lee took over. How long has he been there now? Like 3 or 4 years. He took over, after Beamer, I believe. I don't know that for a fact, but he's got that team moving in the right direction, and they're coming to our house. And Lord willing, we don't have another rain delay, but they're coming to our house, and this is the game when we must assert that we are the South Carolina team that we say that we are. But I will say, if we go out there and we lay an egg, then maybe that's just what this team needs, then, is to get popped in the mouth. Sometimes you got to get popped in the mouth, and tonight, honestly, credit to South Carolina State. They beat us on the line of scrimmage, and that I think is the most unforgivable thing. That's why I'm concerned about the season. And what we got to just keep the faith and keep the hope, and we'll just see what the hell happens from here. But appreciate you taking the call, and I'm gonna keep on listening in.
Thank you, man. Appreciate the phone call.
You bet.
Guys, that's going to wrap it up for us here tonight on the South Carolina Live post-game show. Guys, I am exhausted, as you can probably already tell. But again, hey, I appreciate you guys always tuning in every single week. You guys make this so much fun for me. You guys make the show so much fun. Make sure you do us a favor. Hit the like, share, and subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications so that you are notified every time we go live here on South Carolina Live. We will see you all. By the way, we got new times. Going Tuesdays and Thursdays now for our live shows. Will be Tuesdays for South Carolina Live. Thursdays will be our call-in show. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for watching. Final score out at South Carolina, 38-10. We'll see you guys on Tuesday. Got a lot to break down then, but stay blessed. Don't stress. We got a big week ahead of us. Y'all have a good one.
College football is even more exciting when you've got some action on the line, and the games are even better when you're cashing in. And the Voice of College Football is the place to be to get the greatest value. Start with my picks. 75% against the money line, 58% against the spread, and I've got a 40-plus year track record. 11-0 in the college football playoff for me last year against the money line, 8-3 against the spread. And I'm just the warm-up act. Steve Merrill of Wager Talk is our ace in the hole, show stopper. 7 years with the Voice of College Football, over 30 years in the industry. Steve gives us analysis on all the big games, but you can't miss Steve's weekly under-the-radar pick. 28-12 against the spread the last 3 years. You also get picks from some of our top analysts here at the Voice of College Football, including Corey Bratta, Matt Zemek, and Steve Dace. Check out those numbers. Become a YouTube or Patreon member for just $99 per month. Go to the main channel on YouTube, click join, and then select the betting tier. Do the same thing on Patreon. Make 2025 a winner now.